And of course, as soon as I want to start recording, it starts raining on the server. So I guess we will delay this. Alright, hello everybody, welcome to Season 5 here on the 24CarrotCraft server. I am Rogue Torso, and I will be your tour guide tonight through my base as I have it so far. As you can probably tell, it's not finished by a long shot, but we're going to go through what we've done so far and kind of go over some plans we have, what we still have to do. Maybe give you a reason to tune in and see the next episode. Let's hope so. But I hope to make a lot of them. I also do live stream every Wednesday, so check me out at Twitch TV /Rogue Torso, and every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. So we'll start here. This is my main storage system, as you can probably tell. Whoops. This is the main feed line, so there is a water column right there that feeds every item into the water stream. Gets dumped in on the edge, and it'll just circulate all the way around here until it finds a hopper to go in. This is an impulse SV sorting system, so each one of these hoppers is set up for an item. Well, not all of them. I don't have all of them full yet. So this one's for granite, so anytime granite comes by, it'll let the granite flow through into a tower of chests, which you can see right there. These chests here on the corners, I've got several of those, are just manual storage for now. I don't have those set up auto-wise, so it's just the taller ones you'll see. But pretty good system. If I get anything that isn't set up to be sorted, you know, if I drop a random, well, even stone would go in here, but, you know, if I would drop like random terracotta, it would just circulate around the perimeter here until it despawns. So, kind of like the way this system works. We have a golem killing chamber right here. You can see we got magma blocks with the minecart hoppers right there pushed into them. So that's where all the golems will die. There's a farm up top that we'll see here in a little bit. But their items get collected there. There's also a lot of farms up there, and all the farms dump into the same tube. So periodically you may see some other items fall through here. There's, you know, just like that iron golem, and they get collected. And again, they all get shot into that one water stream. So that's kind of how the top of the sorting system works. We'll see if we can work our way around. Nope. Didn't think that was going to work. Anyway, right up there is the bottom. I have a guardian farm that we'll see in a little bit. But that is where the guardians die. They drop 30 blocks to their death, or 32. I can't remember exactly how far it is. And then their items get collected, go through this hopper chain, and dump in here into this dropper clock, which shoots them into the water streams and then up into the storage system. I had another one of these. You'll notice this unused column here. I had a dropper clock just for the guardian farm drops, and for some reason it quit working. I have absolutely no idea why. It was built exactly like this one. It had been working just fine, and when I put this one in and that one in and got all of the storage working, for some reason that one wasn't anymore, and I couldn't get it working for the life of me. So I just did this long hopper chain and dumped it in here. Seems to be working just fine as long as it doesn't back up. Something interesting I did with the, with the kelp. So, like I say, all the kelp will come down, get dumped in here. I sort that out right here with this filter. So this doesn't go to a chest line. It comes down, gets sorted into this hopper chain, which comes over here and dumps into this minecart. Once this minecart is full, it will take off and continue to circulate all the way around, filling all of the furnaces which are right there until it's done. Once it's done, it passes by this. If it's empty, then this little piece of track will flip over and let it crawl back up into the corner here, and it'll reset and be ready to fill again. So pretty cool little system. It is a Cubfan 135 design. I had to modify it a little bit to fit it into the area, and my fill system is a little different, but there's nothing really special about it. But the rest of this is all his, so I'll link the video to where he did that and the kelp farm that feeds it. So that's kind of the storage system. Oh, dried kelp comes out through this hopper chain and dumps into the same dropper. So a lot of items come through this dropper. All the guardian farm drops, dried kelp, and then also this is a slime farm drops that come through here, and we'll see that in a second. So we'll go see the slime farm next. Sorry it's a little quiet or a little loud in here. I do have some of the noises turned down. This is a slime farm. Pretty simple principle. It's got spawning platforms in a slime chunk. The slime spawn eventually fall off onto the magma blocks where they die. They leave their slime balls as drops, and they're picked up by minecart hopper down there. And I can show you that little system real quick under here. So the minecart goes around. Once it has items in it, it comes up here. If any items flow through that hopper, it shuts the power off, makes it sit there until it's empty, and they flow into the storage system. Once it's empty, it'll take back off again and go collect the rest. So pretty simple, cool little system. Pretty proud of how the floor turned out. This is bedrock under here, just so you know, and then the glass over the top. And I have heard that if I had Optifine, this would look better because it wouldn't have the borders. So I may have to try that at some point. But for now, I think it looks fine. It would look better if it was smoother. Random storage from different projects. Not much to say about that. It needs to all be gone. I'll be transferring it over there. These chests here are just full of extra kelp that I need to run back through the system. I do have a chest right here that I can put kelp into, and it'll feed through the system. But it does back it up pretty good, so I have to watch how much I put in at a time. Again, bunch of random stuff. These have a lot of my redstone pieces in them, so a lot of what I use for that. But just project chests. I need to get all this cleaned up at some point. Those chests there, kind of the same story, but these are left over from when I had my very first mine. So before I dug all this outside out, I had a mine tunnel that came down here with a ladder. This was the level I was mining at, and I had a huge system of tunnels through here. This is where I kept all the items. You can see I've still got a lot of random stuff I need to clean out, so I'll get all that cleaned out eventually. I wonder if I have anything important. I'd be really mad if I had diamonds in here and didn't even know it. Nope, doesn't look like it. So, but we can dump all that stuff in the sorting system and get it out of here. As far as decoration goes, you can see what I'm flirting with there. I really want this pattern to kind of continue and hook up there. You can see where I started to make the little corner. I want to bring that all the way back down and hook it up right on that corner, and then I'll do that on all four sides. So it'll kind of look like this central column is holding up this big structure, which I think will look pretty cool. I'll probably have to kind of extend it to the side and maybe put like an archway over here just to give it some more structure. I'm an engineer by trade, so I can't have something that doesn't look somewhat structurally sound. The slime farm looks pretty boring, just a big wall of prismarine blocks. I'll do something with that. I'm not sure how I'm going to decorate that yet, but I'll make sure that looks better than it does right now eventually. This furnace array I built very quickly. I needed to smelt up a bunch of glass and realized I didn't really have a smelter anymore other than a really small one, so I built this one pretty quick. I do want to do a big smelter at some point, probably like a 64 furnace array, but I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. It may sit in the same area, but it won't be this one. This one will come out eventually. So it's kind of ugly and an eyesore right now. It's kind of a theme with me. A lot of times I build things to be functional. You can see what I'm sorting out in this system. Like I said, these taller ones are self-sorting. These shorter ones on the sides, like this one right here, is just all manual storage. I don't have anything in there yet. Here, once I craft up, is this working now? Looks like it. Once I craft up the prismarine, like blocks, I'm putting them in here. You can see same thing with the sea lanterns. So that's where I'm putting kind of the finished goods a little bit. A lot of work to do down here. I should have removed these pillars while I was digging this out. Don't know why I didn't, but I'll get all that mined out at some point. I need to plug that hole. I need to do something with the walls. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet. This is all stone. It'll be glass eventually, so I can see out to the water, kind of more like that is. So a lot of work to do there. Kind of ran out of materials, but the beacon has helped. That there, my plan there is to put glass one level down, so one level down from sea level, fill all that in with glass, and then let the sea flood back over the top. I got halfway and lost motivation, so I had to stop and do something else for a while, but I will get back to that project pretty soon and finish it off. It takes a lot longer than you think it would to do just a random pattern of glass. But that's probably about it down here. A lot of work to do down here. It took me a long time to get the Guardian farm up and running to the point it's at. It took me a long time to dig this hole. That's probably the first couple months of work. That was basically what I did. So it's taken me quite a while. So one thing about being a hermit, you don't have a lot of help on things. And I don't ask either, but we'll go up here. So all the guardians die right there at that level. If I want to get XP from them, I can come up on this little platform. I can flip this switch. Whoops, got a duck to go in here. That slides these slabs over, and they'll fall in here. It does enough damage to them. They die from one hit, and you can get the XP from them. So, oh, I didn't do that. So right now we'll let them fall. The only thing about this, it doesn't collect the items when you do that, so I probably need to figure out some way to do that, but I haven't yet. And it's not a big deal. Usually if I'm getting XP, I've got plenty of drops anyway. We'll go up here. This ladder is something I need to get rid of. I don't know how I'm going to get down there yet. I don't know if I'll put a bubble elevator or what I'll do, but we'll figure that out. This tube here, you just saw an iron golem fall, which was kind of cool actually. So this tube here, in the middle here, there's a 2-block wide hole where everything falls. So that's where all the farms and all the iron golems and everything falls. In the middle here is a 2x4 wide hole where all the guardians fall. So that's kind of the collection system. And then on this side up there, you'll see an elevator when we get up there. Like the pattern I did with these end caps, at the time there was water behind them, so this was all watertight. But I really like how this turned out. It's kind of a cool pattern, I think. And I didn't really plan it. I just kind of, did it off the cuff and kind of made it up as I go. But I really like the way it turned out. So I always like to point that out. Stairwell, as you can see, is not quite done. I ran out of dark prismarine. I have enough now. I could come back and fix that, and probably should. I'll make that a project. But Guardian Farm, I probably better go over that. It's kind of the central point. Got these 4 big tanks, one in each corner. They all come up to water streams, which dump into... I can see it better from up here. Yeah, so you can kind of see the water streams come from outside in, dump everything into this central little trough here, which comes down under here and dumps them into the drop chamber. And then they go down and die, or they go down to the XP farm. You can see some more candidates coming in, and there they are getting swept down. So pretty tricky. They just die from fall damage. No big deal. We'll go up here. If I don't overshoot it. This can be tricky. Okay, good. We're done. Alright. Let's get rid of him. Oh, good. I didn't have to. This is my iron farm. So, basic design here. It's kind of my own design, but I cobbled it together from some examples. You got 3 workstations here, 3 villagers, 3 beds. So right now they're being scared by the villagers. So now with those pistons down, they can't see the zombies. So now they're free to do their business. They can, work on their workstations. They could sleep if it was nighttime. Same for this side. Exact same setup. 3 villagers, 3 workstations, 3 beds. Pistons fire at the same time. After a few seconds, the hopper clock is going to back those up, and now they can see the zombie, which scares them, and they should produce another golem here pretty quick. There he is right there. Oh, I got 2 that time. That's awesome. That usually doesn't happen for whatever reason. But pretty decent little iron farm. It's given me plenty. And I just got this set up yesterday. Took me a lot of trial and error. The first one I built, my cells were too far away and they couldn't see the zombie right. I didn't put it in the middle because this is a 2-block wide gap and I need the zombie in one. Learned a lot of lessons from this, but we'll take to the next time. This is the etho hopper clock that runs it. Basically, there's a line of redstone off of that block right now. It's energized, pistons are down. Once it flips back, which it should here any minute now, it'll back that piston off. Works from items passing back and forth between those hoppers. So now the pistons are depowered. They can see the zombie again. They should produce another golem or 2. See if they do. Yep, 2. Ooh, we're getting 2 right now. It's really running well right now. So that's good. And then they get dumped down and they end up in this tube over here and go down to the killing chamber. So that's pretty cool. This block of farms I just got done recently. The first part of it is this kelp farm. Not going to take credit for this. This is the CubFan135 design. He has a tutorial on it. I'll probably link it in the description. He also did the smelter downstairs along with it, so you can see both of those. I screwed mine up a little bit. I miscalculated where this wall should be. I thought it was going to be right here. You can't do that, or it breaks the water sources down there and screws up the farm. So I had to move the walls in, which means there's no drop point in the middle. And we end up with what we have here, where I had to kind of field engineer this a little bit. I do get a few losses on that middle. You know, if something dumps directly in there, there's nothing to push it into the water stream. So I do lose a little bit once in a while, but not enough to worry about. But along with the kelp, I've got the sugarcane farm. The kelp, the sugarcane, and then the bamboo on the back wall all work on the same principle. Grows up. When it hits the observer, piston fires, breaks it off, and then it either falls down into the water, or in the case of the kelp, it floats up to the top, and everything gets collected to the side and then around to this tube, and then falls down the same tube as the iron golems and gets collected by the hopper minecarts at the bottom that we saw earlier. So pretty cool system. We also have the cactus. Works on, you know, principle. Once it grows, it can't be next to a block, breaks off, falls to the bottom. I think everybody's seen a cactus farm for the most part. If you haven't, there's plenty of tutorials out there. I think Void has one. I know. I think I watched a Nembomb video where he went into the math of how to make the most efficient one. This is not the most efficient one. I just fit this in here. It's already given me more cactus than I'm probably going to need. But I hope to put in a smelter that just runs cactus through and gives me XP. You know, one of those that I can just walk up to and pull the die out and get enough XP to fix a tool right away. I think that'd be cool, so we'll probably do that. But all this just got put in recently, and I think it works pretty well. I want to do something on this side. I'm not sure what yet. I'm still contemplating that. When I find an answer, we'll do that. I thought about doing some kind of vine farm kind of back in this area, but we'll see how that works. I am good at falling in it. This terracotta I put in because I had iron golem spawning on that ice block right there. So I didn't have any glass time, so I put this white terracotta in, but I kind of like how it looks, so I'll probably leave it there. But yeah, so that works pretty well. So this is going to be kind of the industrial level to my farm. So we got the iron farm, we got these farms. I need to start putting in food farms. I think the next things I'm going to work on are pumpkin and melon farms, so probably put them in this area and let them flow into the same tube is what I'll do, and then we'll see what else I can put in here. But I think it's pretty cool how this works. I like having the open stuff that you can kind of see how everything works. I think that looks pretty cool when I get the glass all right, so there's not gaps like there might be right there in some other areas. But yeah, I like the way that works. You can okay, this big spiral staircase was one of the first things I built in the base. I just haven't done a lot with it. Eventually it'll be white glass and quartz like you see right there, but I'm gonna have to get a lot of quartz and a lot of white glass. But I didn't do the inner ring right. You can see where I got off right there, and it looks really ugly, so I got to redo this, but some of it. But for the most part it works. You can go all the way from the top to the bottom on that if you want. There's going to be another one on the other side. You can see it starting right there. I didn't get as far with it, and it got off somewhere. It actually went through the glass over there where it shouldn't have. So I'll have to revamp that a little bit. But that's a project for another day. That might be the main way I get all the way downstairs, because I plan on this going all the way down to bedrock, basically along that inner wall. We'll see how well that works. Tree farms. We'll go out here next to my tree farms. I put these in fairly early. I have a shop that sells... the first two things I really built were these platforms. I built the Guardian farm. That took a lot of time. And I built these tree farms. I wanted to get a shop up and running. The shop I got sells Guardian drops, so prismarine, sea lanterns, things like that. And then it also sells logs. And I hate it when it's raining when I'm recording, but that's fine. Tree farms, pretty basic design. You know, you grow the tree, you get up there, you start cutting it down. Anything that drops falls into these water streams, ends up in this central. and gets collected by those hoppers there. It ends up in, whoa, that's not what I meant, in these chests. So you can see where I don't have a lot of logs in here right now. I do have plenty of saplings, which is good, especially when you have jungle and they're kind of stingy. But that works really well. I do have all 6 varieties of trees. Let's get up here on the real path. As you can see, I didn't give a lot of thought to the paths. You kind of jump around to get through here. I haven't done a lot with this since I put it in. I did try and get a little bit creative and use, you know, all spruce wood for this one and all jungle wood for that one, which that doesn't look too bad. But there's a few problems with this. It's kind of out away from the base, so trees don't grow when I'm in the base, especially these out here, to a certain extent, these middle ones. So I'm constantly having to kind of come out here and wait for things to catch up and grow, and that's not a good thing. So the dark oak one is actually double sized, and that's because we used a lot of dark oak in our nether tunnels, and I donated a lot of it, so I needed a big farm that would produce that. But they all work the same principle. Eventually, I think I'll move this and put it like either on the outside edge of one of these, you know, big platforms. Like maybe divide the bottom one into like 6 parts and plant the trees around the outside. Might be pretty cool. And then also I want to make them dump into that central storage system at some point. But that's a challenge for another day. So we'll go up to the top now. Last part of the base, which I kind of want to be the main part of my base eventually. I just have to get all the farms and stuff set up and working first. But this is where I really want the magic to happen. As you can see, I got plenty of villagers. None of them I've really traded with or set up. Eventually I need to get some kind of house for the librarians set up. You know, some kind of house for the farmers set up so I can start trading with them. I have some, you know, what are these guys called? Clerics. And then some stone cutters as well. The stone cutters I could really use. I'm using a lot of quartz, so I probably need to get those guys set up pretty soon. But it doesn't do me any good if I don't have emeralds, and I need those guys for emeralds, and for that I need food farms. So that's why that's going to be the next project for me. But this is where it all starts, this villager breeder. It's based on an Avamance design. His design is, you know, the beds in the corners, the workstation there, the little section of carrots that can be planted. You throw a farmer or just a couple villagers, they become farmers, and then they harvest the crops, throw them to each other, breed. The babies can run under these fence rows, they fall into the water streams, and they get pushed out to this area. This switch, I'll describe that in a minute. This switch, if I flip that, it pushes these blocks in the middle up. My idea for that was you could shut the farm on and off. But what I found out is these guys can still breed even with that up. Somehow they're able to get the carrots to each other. I think if I put another set of pistons on top and pushed those blocks up and then these blocks down so it really shut the whole thing off, I think I could make it work. I just haven't done that yet. But that's kind of the idea of that, was to be able to shut this on and off. This here, we should see activate in a minute. So you can see this water column. So right now, anything that gets produced will sit against that glass block. Once nighttime falls, and we might see it here shortly, that glass block should retract and all these should go away. All this water is powered by these dispensers, so that's what makes the water column, and then there's a piece of soul sand at the bottom. So basically any villagers that come in here in the morning, when the light first activates it, they'll be standing right there. So this block shuts off the water stream so they can't mix, and then it shoots any villagers up to the top, which is kind of a cool idea. And like I say, it should activate here in a minute. And it's all driven, that daylight sensor drives the piston down, makes that redstone block activate that line, which activates the piston in it. And there you go, you saw it deactivate right there. So anything that got produced would end up on that, oh, that was not good. I don't know how to get out of here. Okay, so, like I was saying, that piece of soul sand right there is kind of the key to the water column. It took me a little while to put that together. The basic reasoning, I didn't want to spit my villagers out down here and then have to figure out a way to get them up here when this is where I wanted them in the first place. And I hadn't really worked with observers a whole lot, so I kind of did all this just to kind of figure some things out and took me a while to kind of work everything out and make it work. I had a block swapper for a while that I figured out I didn't even need. But yeah, it was a neat little project that I learned with. So, and I think it looks kind of cool exposed like that. You kind of walk up and go, what the heck does this do, you know? And it seems a little like overkill, but it works really, really cool. It's kind of cool to see this activate in the morning and watch the villagers come shooting out of here. So, a couple other things I've just got laying around. Infinite water source. I've got all the basic farms. As you can see, some villagers have been replanting this one. It was beetroot, and they've harvested it and planted carrots for me. It's real nice of them. We got melon farms. I think what happens here is these guys climb up here and then they fall off and crush these. That's why I need to get a pumpkin and melon farm pretty quick, because they keep destroying these. I go through here and cut this down, and I have to replace half the plants, if not more. At one point, I collected this melon farm, and I had no plants left to regrow them, so that's frustrating. But we have all the basic farms. You know, carrots, potatoes, wheat, beetroot. As you can see, we got the nether wart there. So that's going to be the next thing I'll work on down there, is some industrial auto farms. And then kind of the last thing, I've got a bed down here. You know, sleep in it just to keep the phantoms away. I don't notice phantoms all that much because I don't come down here a whole lot. Or I don't come up here a ton unless I'm looking for something. All this storage was from early in the game. A lot of it's just random stuff now that I just need to resort out. You know, all this stone and stuff can go in the storage system downstairs. You know, block of quartz I'll need at some point. You know, all this stuff can get stored downstairs. I just have to take it down there. So I'm going to start moving it pretty soon. All my tree farm, that's what that's called. All my tree farm drops are in here. You know, here's the saplings and kind of the finished good, and then the logs are up here. As you can see, I've been using quite a few logs, and I haven't went and cut any down, so I'm going to have to do that pretty soon because I'm running short, and I'm going to need a lot of pistons and stuff for projects I'm doing. Sheep farm, pretty basic, just manual sheep farm. I'll do an auto one at some point. Cow farm, same deal. I just breed these up with wheat and cut them out when I need it. I don't use them as food, but I do use the leather for, you know, item frames and things like that. And then my nether portal. I just put this covering over it, make it look like a little building. You know, not the greatest in the world. I am not a builder by any sense of the word. I can make things look decent, but I'm not going to wow you with my building. But yeah, so that's just my nether portal that goes out to the tunnel, but we'll show that some other time. And I think that's it. So thanks for sticking around, taking the base tour with me. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death. And again, if you like the video, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. And again, I'll reiterate, I do stream every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Twitch TV/RogueTorso. So if you like what I'm doing here and want to see what I do with it further in the future, be sure to tune in there. I'll try to put out regular episodes of this. Do some episodes every week and just show the progress and how I built things. So hopefully things will go well. I took some time off over the holidays, got a little recharge, and I'm ready to get back into this stuff. So thanks for hanging out tonight. RogueTorso out.